been the most talked about maybe on the team. What is it like in that room right now? What is your evaluation, and what's maybe the last time we talked to you was a challenge to be violent? I mean, is it?
Yeah, well, we have just in general here, our room at Ohio State is a very high standard. So you're always chasing that. You're always pushing to that. So are we there yet? No. Are we working there? Yeah. You can watch from week 1 to 4. There's some improvement. There's some guys in the first group that have pulled away and doing some things from the second group. But at the end of the day, you want the production, you want all those things. So no one's happy. No one's like, wow, we're going to get it next. Like, there's a legitimate fight right now in the room, and from the staff and the kids all together.
Yeah.
And that's just what we talk about. I talk with those guys all the time. Like, we're doing this together. We're working on this together. And so when we see what we need to cure, then we got to take something to cure that ailment. Through practice, is it the coaching where I got to cut it down and be more back to basics and remedial? Yeah, I've done a little bit of that this week for the guys. Is it for the guys to say, all right, what am I looking at? If it's 6 things, because I think I'm ready for 6, I might not be ready for 6. Let me just focus on these 1 or 2. So everybody, coach, players, unit involved, I felt like has come out of this week and talking with Ryan, like that's kind of been the mindset there of like, just go, because we talk about, the competitive stamina and the growth. The bad stuff's not because we're unable physically right now. Does that make sense? There's some things going on that we need to correct that we're capable and able of doing, we're just not doing right. So do I have to simplify a scheme? Yeah, probably. Do they have to latch on and rebite to a scheme because they maybe have gone too far too fast? Probably some of that in there. Somewhere in the middle is reality that way.
So when you talk about all of that stuff, I mean, that's probably just scratching the surface of what's in your brain. I mean, is it hard to chart a course out of it? Are you confused about the right way to do it?
No, I think that, you could let yourself get confused, but you guys have been around me now for over a year, and how we talk, like sometimes it's boring, like we're just like getting back to the basics, to the fundamentals, to maybe even the scheme. Like, God, we'd really love to block them all, but you know what? Maybe we get to these 6 and give the back 7. Maybe we give the tight end or someone 7. So from a coaching standpoint, I've got to put them, and we have to put them in the right schemes to where they can play faster and looser in some things. And then other things, when they don't make the play, they see it and they're like, damn it, coach, like, I got this, I'm going to get better at this. And then we work it, and then just being cohesive as a run unit of it's R5 and then maybe 1 tight end or 2 tight ends. Or it's R5, a tight end, and then maybe a back has something here. So that's when you involve more people in the run games. But from our standpoint in our room, yes, it's a little bit of everything. The personnel and the kids, what are they doing? They're diving back into themselves. There's no sheltering or kicking back. They understand that. From a coaching standpoint, I'm looking at how hard I'm coaching it, what I'm coaching, the details I'm giving them to them, making sure I'm not spreading too thin, and then we've got to put them in the right schemes to go execute better. So it's a good little mixture there of that's the answer. It's not something random. Now, how do we all rebite, refocus, and get into that?
Justin, I think after week 1 or week 2, Ryan said that everything that you guys were doing was correctable. Sounds like you're having to tweak some things now. Was there a point where things became maybe not correctable to a point where you have to tweak what you guys are doing for the personnel?
I think, yeah. Like if you get into, like, you cut yourself open and you say, who are we, what do we do, what do we do really well? You get rolling and going on that, then how thin do you get spread? Or maybe you get away from those core fundamentals, or that core concept, I should say, not the fundamentals, within whatever that scheme may be. So that can sometimes be an answer, whether it's here or anywhere else. Or you see some other things like, man, we could attack this team here really well. Well, we've got this, let's maybe try to dabble in here. Well, how much time to task does that go? That's what we just have to keep reworking to make sure we're giving them the right amount of stuff and not too much stuff to where they can't go execute the right amount of stuff.
Is there an offensive line that you've coached that you can fall back on that maybe through 4 or 5 games didn't look like it was completely coming together, and then it just kind of snapped into place? Or do you have?
Yeah, I mean it's all stuff we kind of talked about. I remember, like, just going back to, I don't deal with the place or whatever, but I had a deal where you start get going, you had some veteran guys, and you're moving and shaking and doing some things, and all of a sudden you do get away from what made those guys really good. Or you jump the version C, D, and E, and you skip A and B, even though they're veteran guys in those things. Well, you can use that in a deal of a more inexperienced type of group. We're saying, hey, we're trying to hunt and peck in here. Let's get honed back in on this. So not being too, just don't throw too much information at them. but give them enough to where they can go play with a little more confidence. And like I said, the kids feel that out. We ask the kids, we're asking the kids, where do you want, what do you like, what do we got to get back to? Coach, can I get this one more time? So it's just a good working thing that we got to keep working on that way.
Justin, is it possible that running the stretch play, the full zone play, just maybe doesn't suit the skill sets of this particular group? And if so,
well, that goes back to what we said. Like, there's a lot of pieces that go into that.
Yeah.
If it's just 5-man open stretch, then there's a component to that. Then you add a tight end or a fullback or someone that's a cutoff guy. So as you add more pieces to it, then you have to make more blocks that way, more reads and those things. So that goes back to what we're talking about. Are you just going to cut it away? No, because we got a lot of reps, a lot of time, and we've run it really well too. So then why maybe is this one not working, or here? Is it personnel, meaning 12, 13 bigger people versus 11, finding ways to do it in 12 or something that way? That's just what we got to keep digging on, you know. But from a standpoint of like to say wholesale, like, wow, that's just not there. There's too many bank reps and bank work where how do we find, once again, that right merge of 5 plus 6, who becomes 7, who becomes 6, how does the back read it, and putting our guys in the right scheme that way.
There was a lot of talk, like during that Maryland game, Joel Klatt was the entire time was like, not enough getting up to the second level. Like, linebackers are uncovered when you're trying to run the football. How imperative is that to what you want to do to make sure you're getting there? And then what's, I guess, the disconnect?
Both. You got to get displacement up front. You got to get a little more movement. You know, those guys, they played that big, 3-4 Okie front a little bit.
Yeah.
And so getting movement on that first level, and then how many guys work down, you know, and then you look at that. I mean, a lot of our play action stuff hit too, because there was a lot of guys down. So that's the give and take. But yes, we got to be more explosive in those. We can't, you know, I think we had 2 0 or negative yardage runs, but we had too many 3s and 2s.
There's a lot of 3s,
Yeah, we had too many 3s and 2s. So yes, getting the ball to that second level, working that. And once again, you got to look in and say, is that the scheme? Is that the personnel we're asking to do that scheme? Is it a different scheme that we can open up to put guys in different sets? And you game plan and look for that every week, you know. And so we just got to, you know, not just move on and run the next play. We got to obviously dive into it, look into it. And that's why you guys are asking me about it too. So we're all diving into it and working on it. And that's what we got to make sure we have a good plan for the kids.
Justin, with Donnie,
last 2 questions.
With Donnie and Matt, they were on the offensive line. It was really solid last year. I mean, this year your line has gone through some struggles for them specifically. They're the leaders of the group, and have you sensed any frustration from them?
Well, yeah, everybody wants to play better, but like, you know, dissension or separation now. It's probably been more with Matt's been as vocal as he's been in a long time this week, and Donovan, as we talked before the season, is learning to grow into that position now. Where like he looked to his left and to his right, and he's like, well, I got to be the voice. I got to be the voice of the locker room. I got to be the voice that echoes what coach is saying. I got to reestablish communication to the young guys, or maybe talk to Josh Simmons a little more, because it might be a new term or something for him. So, in the heat of the moment where we're at, no, there's been no disconnect or no dissension. Yeah, everybody's frustrated because, like I said, the bar here is high, rightfully so. And so, where you're not to that, you got to keep climbing and get to that. And so that's what they're doing as kids, we're doing as coaches, and as I said, that's my unit and my guys and us. That's what we're doing as well, and that's what the offense is doing.
Ryan yesterday was expressing confidence in kind of the personnel, feeling you have the right 5 in place. Just want to kind of get your thoughts on that, because you had some
we challenged
competitions.
We challenged the guys there that are, if a guy's right there in the 2s, you know, and that goes with anything. If there's a little struggles, or there's something going on, it's like, the answer can't be, well, I could do that. Well, if that's what we don't need, don't do that. Be better than that, you know. So yeah, there's still some competition. There's some guys that are there, and there's some guys too that there's been some separation there. So yeah, we feel like we're playing with the right guys. Can we get another guy or 2 there into the mix? Excuse me. Yeah, there's guys battling for that, but we're constantly looking at that. I mean, the beautiful thing about us up front is we get a grade every play. I mean, you get an inside drill, it's 9 on 7, you're grading those plays. You get a pass rush, you get a grade. We have a lot of gradable, coachable reps, and so the guys can see the good and the bad, and guys can see who's pushing each other and who's separating from each other too. So,
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.